Do, okay, ask your question one more time. Let's try to
Yeah, so my
this
question
is
is,
more of a verbal now than anything, but let's try to tackle it. Okay.
yeah, so my question is, if I'm playing a scaling champ or a
Sure.
teamfight champ, for example, like Seraphine, why can't I sit back, farm the minion, and come out the laning phase, even maybe like slightly behind his CS, but I will still be more useful in teamfight than the other guy.
Well, you're assuming you're gonna slightly be behind in CS, but if you're not laning properly, if you're not able to understand the fundamentals of laning, you can't scale. If Kassadin can't lane properly, Kassadin won't scale well. Because you'll be dead. Do you see?
Yeah, I guess Kassadin wasn't the example, but
Okay,
like maybe like Malzahar, or maybe Galio, or maybe like Seraphine.
even as Galio, you have to understand how to lane. If you don't understand how Galio can lane, then you're not gonna get to your items. So, my again, I'm gonna ask again, right? My question is, why are you so avoidant of the fundamentals of lane? Because it seems to me that your nature is very, as a person, it seems like you're very, or as a player, I guess, it's very avoidant of, like making mistakes. In the last session, we discussed we don't run teleport. In multiple of my videos, I've talked about this. We don't go teleport in low MMR because it's a crutch. It can be used to bandage and essentially help your laning, while simultaneously hurting you in the long run when it comes to development as a player. Yet we still seem to run it. Right?
Yeah, I don't run TP in 1v1s. It's just
right, but it's not about 1v1s, it's about why are we running teleport in the first place?
because it's more useful.
Right, but do you realize that you're using it as like you're using it to bandage your bad laning? Not necessarily using it to
It's like, yeah, in laning phase, yes. But what about like, for example, like after laning phase, if you're like collecting bot wave,
doesn't
and
matter.
then they're fighting mid, then you
don't
can't TP mid to help.
you don't always need to help your team. So, if that was the case, wouldn't every mid laner run teleport in solo queue?
They should.
They should. They can't. Because you can, in solo queue, you can grab a wave and still not, and your teammates, either you ping them back, or you understand the fight is not useful to take and you don't enter it. The wave that you take, hypothetically, of course, where I'm not showing you in game, could be more, or most of the time when it comes to lower MMR solo queue, is better than partaking in the random shenanigans with the rest of the 4 players that do so.
But if I don't go and they will just all die, and what am I going to do
Let them die. You collect. What's better, 3 waves or a lost team fight when an enemy can't take an objective?
Yeah. Okay.
If an opponent can't take an objective, and your teammates 2-3 of them die, and you collect 3 waves, that's income for you. It doesn't matter about them. In the long run of things, that's going to be more beneficial to you than anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, you have to realize that. So, the problem, again, I'm going to restate the problem, right? You took a session from me a month ago or a month and a half ago, and now you're coming up with you want to come for, you know, we did another session, but you haven't 1v1 practiced at all. When it comes to low MMR solo queue, it is infinitely better to practice 1v1s than to actually play the solo queue. Because you end up getting, again, 30 minutes of practice in 3 games of solo queue, whereas if you just 1v1 people for like 2 hours straight, that's like 2 hours of raw, just experience. And that's what's going to make you a better laner. And you asked me earlier, why is laning the most important part of solo queue? It's because, well, laning decides the game.
Yeah, kind of. But I guess that depends on the matchups, you know. Yeah.
Right. But what was your question about Syndra and the matchup? Let's tackle that next, actually.
Yeah. So like, for example, like Syndra versus some other champs.
Okay.
But Syndra usually is still better than most champs in the mid lane, like especially against assassin. So if I just sit back and farm, I will be more useful than them in the long run for the team.
Right, but why do you not just want to kill them? Or first of all, why do you assume that they were going to be able to just CS? Like, why do you think you're going to CS better than them? Because you mentioned that earlier.
Because that's what happened in most games.
Right. But you said earlier. But okay, if you're Syndra into Xerath, you can't just farm and then assume you're going to CS better than the other guy. So
He can never kill me.
Well, yeah, he can if he's good.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a silver player and I'm a silver player, then what would make him, unless he's smurfing, like
We don't care if he's smurfing or not.
yeah. So so if he's not smurfing, then he's just a regular silver player.
Sure.
So what would make him better? I guess.
Well, I don't understand the question. You're
Well,
nothing makes
you're
him better.
saying that-
You're both silver. What I'm saying is you're
Yeah.
both playing the game incorrectly. If you play the game correctly, you'll kill the other guy.
Yeah. So my question is, if he's playing the game incorrectly, and I'm also, what would make him come out laning phase better? I guess.
I'm not stating that he's gonna play better than you. Look.
Yeah. So if we go even, like for example, if we go even,
Okay.
and I'm playing a champ that is infinitely better than him in team fights, then I would.
Well, first of all, you have to ask yourself. First of all, there's a lot of chaos in solo queue.
Yeah.
So you can't assume that a team fight will just end up happening. Especially in silver, there's no team fights in silver. There's small skirmishes and then someone rage quits. Right. Second of all, you're under the assumption that you're gonna team fight better than him. Even if that means that his champion isn't as good inside of the team fight. Third of all, you're not considering composition. You don't have the experience as a player to consider composition yet and how a team fight might play out, in certain situations. Fourth of all, you're essentially using this from my eyes. It seems as though this is like a coat or like a type of defense mechanism to avoid laning better.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see the issue here? I feel like you're being, again, avoidant.
Yeah, I guess I feel like I'm better at team fight or like mid late game than laning phase.
See,
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is the problem that you're having is that, okay, you answer me answer me this, okay? How would you know something that you don't know?
You don't.
You don't, because you don't know. It hasn't come into your experience yet. And if you were to answer something, you would only be able to answer the question based on your limited understanding of everything that you currently know.
Yeah.
In other words, giving a solid statement to a single concept, whether it be in the game or out of the game, when you know that you have a limited understanding of the game, and, well, do you think that you have a limited understanding of the game?
Yeah.
You do. So then to base assumptions and conclusions based on you being conscious of the fact that you have a very limited understanding of the game is nothing short than arrogance. Do you see the issue here? The issue is not League of Legends. Most people in Silver and Gold, and their issue isn't League of Legends. Because it's very easy to perform mechanically having satisfactory mechanics, and then just not trolling, and then watching like YouTube videos and just doing fundamental basics, and you'll climb. But going back to my earlier statement regarding the nothing short from arrogance, do you see the issue here?
Yeah, I can.
So you're stating things that you're telling me, oh, I'm a better teamfight player than I am a laning player. But that, first of all, that's not a thing, right? That's not like a thing. Hey, give me like 10 minutes, okay? I'm sorry. Someone was in there. First of all, that's not a thing. That's just a statement you're making because you don't know how to lane.
Yeah. I agree.
Right? So like, that's why I said these coaching sessions aren't going to help you. You have to remodel yourself as a player through your perception of the game rather than your play. That's why I'm saying for some people. Sorry?
So how would I do that?
Well, this verbal I hope will help a little bit. And I don't mind extending the session. Like, we can keep talking. Don't worry about the time, right? If you have any questions, any more questions about the game, you just let me know, and I'm here to, we can get these answered. But players like you, your issues are it's not League of Legends, right? Let me pull up your OPGG one more time here. Because as a Syndra player, you shouldn't really be losing lane. Right? It's just the nature of the champion. If you lose lane as Syndra, then there's bigger issues. Your laning is bad. Okay? So, anyways, you were asking me how to fix this. Well, the first thing you do is you stop assuming everything.
Yeah.
Right? You stop labeling yourself as someone who can teamfight better. Stop labeling Syndra as a champion that can scale better. Stop, assuming that the other player isn't going to perform a certain way just because, and that gives you for some reason the right to just sit back and farm or something, you know what I mean? Once we've stopped assuming these things and you come up with you're coming in with a fresh slate, watch the videos and just do the basics. Right?
Yeah.
And 1v1 people. You have to go into 1v1s. Does that make sense? And then,
yeah.
What summoner do we go? We've already talked about this.
Ignite.
Ignite. Always go Ignite.
Yeah.
Even if you can't kill the guy, go Ignite. Sometimes going Ignite isn't even for the laner. Sometimes going Ignite is just to kill the jungler.
Okay? I guess I have another question that's related, but yeah. So like you talk about winning, but so for example, like this game, I won lane, but then like after laning phase, the game is still hard. So what makes like laning phase determining the entire game, especially in this elo?
If I was to play in this game, or if a Smurf was to play in this game, how many kills do you think I can get on this Yasuo?
A lot.
How many? 5, 6, 7?
Maybe like
8?
Yeah.
In lane phase, perhaps? Okay, so let's say if you're playing the game, now you're Syndra, and let's say the enemy no, maybe that's too much. Let's say the enemy Trundle up there is 8-0 because he's a challenger Smurf or he's a master Smurf. Do you think he can control the game?
Yes.
Okay, why do you think he can control the game?
Because he's a challenger player.
No, it's because he's 8-0.
And we don't have to. Yeah.
It's because you could put challenger player who could be 0-7 and he will still lose the game.
But for example, like Skillcap, they have like a lot of like videos on like how actors would just go 0-5 for 10 minutes.
No, dude. Hector
Yeah.
is he's a puppet. First of all, right? And Skillcap is a company that, first of all, they're feeding you they're feeding you these titles so that you can click them so they generate more views.
Yeah.
In my opinion, no one gives a shit why Hector's 0-6 and they're putting him in a game. I don't care. Why is he 0-6 in the first place? You don't have to be 0-6 in the first place. Right? And for you to,
I guess he was intentionally trying to go 0-6.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even intentionally or whatever. Morality is not, it fucking doesn't matter if he's inting or not, purposely. Right?
Yeah.
Skillcap is a completely different thing. Right? That's not even the point. The point is, I'm asking you, why do you so again, let's go back to the example. I asked you if I'm Syndra here, how many times do you think I can kill this Silver 5 Yasuo? You said about, a lot of times. We kind of agreed maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now if this Trundle was 8-0, Don't you think that he can control the game? I asked you, why do you think that? And then you state the fact that he's challenger.
Yeah.
But the real reason why he can control the game is because the bastard is 8-0.
But like, if he's a silver player, then there's still like a decent chance that he will mess up and then.
Right, but a silver player who's 8-0, don't you think that an 8-0 Trundle can still control the game?
Yeah, but not as likely as a challenger player.
Sure, but do you think that the 8-0 silver player can control the game a lot better than the other players in silver?
Yeah.
Why do you think the player is 8-0 in the first place?
I mean, because the other players is trolling.
No. Don't. Why do you think the guy is 8-0 in the first place?
Because he's better than the other player.
Better at what?
Laning.
Okay, does that answer your question?
Yeah, but even if you're better than your, like, slightly better than your enemy, but you wouldn't be like 8-0 every game, right?
Who says you can't?
If you're not Smurf. If you're not a Smurf.
Okay, but how do we practice getting to that level?
Yeah, that's my question. Like how, like if you're in that elo, I guess.
Right,
like, if
right.
you're
And how do we practice
technology.
getting to that rank or that level? Well, what do you think? League and life work pretty hand in hand. If you do the right things in life, the right things will happen. If you do the right things in League of Legends, the right things will happen.
Well, you play more, and you put in more practice.
Practice. There you go. You 1v1 people more. But that's.
How would I know if I improve? Like I guess like if I 1v1 people, let's say, and how would I know if I improve out those 1v1? If I'm just, yeah. How do I know if that is a?
Well, what's the basis of that question?
So like if I could play like 10 1v1 a game.
I get what you're asking.
Still,
I get what you're asking. You're asking me if I 1v1 a lot of people, how do I know if I'm improving?
Yeah, and how would I know if that's quality practice?
Right. My question is, what is the basis that generated that question? What thought of yours generated such a question? Now, obviously you ended up adding a bit to that question. You said what part of that, and like if it's quality practice. Now, if it's quality practice, well, if you're learning and you're refining to your own knowledge,
how would I know if I'm a silver player and I am laning against 1v1ing against another silver or maybe gold player? How would I know?
First of all, you have the videos. So it's like you're painting and you don't know how to paint or draw, but I'm basically giving you an image that you can just sketch over. Does that make sense? What's easier? Drawing something or sketching something over?
Sketching something over.
Okay. Well, the original drawing that you're sketching over is the YouTube videos. And they're all there for you. You can watch them. I'm telling you what to look for. I have hundreds of videos on how to lane. I have so much content that you got, not just me. There's so much content all across the internet you can watch. And the game is so figured out. You have my Discord. You have so many other improvement Discords. You have a whole network of people. Now, although that causes misinterpretation, this actually causes misinformation to a degree. But if you follow the right content creators, and if you follow the right content creators, you realize that there are no contradictions. When it comes to the basics of lanings, there is no contradiction. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
So, okay, if Coach 1 says one thing, Coach 2 says one thing, Coach 3 says one thing, okay?
Yeah.
If all three of these coaches are competent coaches and they understand how laning works, there are no contradictions. When it comes to the basics of the game. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When
I
now,
guess like
when yeah,
I
but
guess like
mhm.
my question is like I also follow other coaches that have like for example Coach Nalu, and he was talking about how you can just win game by CSing better and just efficiently farming camps and then while you're laning and
Coaches who
that's
say
when you
that to
gain.
the well, first of all, that's the problem, right? Coaches who say stuff like that, they are unaware of the fact that statements like that will cause misinterpretation between the masses of people that don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So what he's saying may come from the right intention in the sense where he's not wrong, but that statement doesn't mean that you don't just do the basics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it doesn't seem like you do.
Yeah, but I guess like my question is
Well,
if
okay,
you
does that make sense or not to you?
uh a little bit better than before.
Like, what doesn't make sense?
Yeah, I guess like what doesn't make sense is like if like for example what he said, if I'm farming better, if I am farming the jungle camp better, and then in between waves, and then I'm not dying to Yasuo, then I'm still ahead of him, even if I don't kill him, right?
Not necessarily, because what's stopping him from taking jungle camps and also CSing effectively?
I mean, I would have more gold than him
If you, what?
if my teammate doesn't feed him.
Wait, I'm so confused. You're telling me that you're gonna have an advantage over the other player through what basis? You're telling me
I don't
the bases are through camp and then CSing, but why are you ignoring the fact that he can do the same?
because he doesn't know that.
Okay, so now you're basing your success off of someone's incapabilities rather than.
Yeah.
Do you see the issue here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you know he doesn't know that?
Because in most of my games, that's what happened. Like I guess like from past experience in this Elo. Like
Hold on.
in most of my game, I have like way better CS than my enemy laner.
You average like very inconsistent amounts of CS. I mean, that doesn't even matter. You know, if you lane properly through CSing fundamentals trading, spacing, you actually have higher CS.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, what gives a player good CS in the game?
If they can last hit, yeah, if they're farming efficiently, like
Okay, how do you farm efficiently? By getting all. Let's say efficient farming is getting all of the CS, but you can now. You might not know this, but so someone can ask this question. But getting good CS is a byproduct of good laning. Does that make sense to you?
kinda. So like, for example, if I'm farming better than the other player, or even with the other player, but if I'm farming more efficiently and I take Raptor every in between
No,
waves,
no, no. That's not
and I will get more and more CS
what I
than
mean. It's not what I mean. I'm gonna give you a quick example. We already went over this, but I want to go over another example with you real quick, okay? I'll just show you a random example. I don't really need to play the whole lane. Is if you walk south here, for example, here, this guy's on cooldown. Sure, he has his Q coming up in like 1 second. Irrelevant, he can't do anything to you. If you walk down and you hit him with the Q and you continuously make these types of movements that force him to lose HP, how do you think he's gonna touch the wave?
Yeah.
He can't. So if he doesn't touch the wave, how do you think he's gonna farm minions?
He wouldn't.
He wouldn't. So then can we agree that good CSing is a byproduct of good laning?
Yeah.
So
But in this at the same time, I'm risking dying to him. Or
How are you
thinking
risking
that-
dying? How are you risking dying to him if you walk up here and give him a Q?
I mean, now, sure, but like later on, once he get 3, or maybe 2.
Okay, and then just like when he gets level 2 or when he gets level 3, you can still find opportunities when he makes a misplay to hit him and he doesn't hit you back. That's what a good trade is. What does that, what does that allow?
But my question is, if I'm a silver player and he's a silver player and we are at the same level, assuming that's the case.
You have to stop wait. You have to stop quantifying rank.
Or in just arbitrarily we're at the same skill level.
Sure.
Then how would I be able to do that while he can't do the same to me? I guess that's the question.
Wait, how will you be able to do that?
Yeah, like get a good tray on him, but he can't get a good tray on me.
Through good laning.
But we're at the same skill level then.
So get better.
I can do the same.
Literally, so dude, watch my videos and get better. That's the answer.
Yeah.
It's like you're waiting for me to say something like magical that'll like the holy grail. There's nothing that I can tell you that's gonna make you a better player. The way you beat him.
Trying to understand. Yeah.
No, the problem is you're stuck in your own psychological process. That's the main issue here. It's not League of Legends. You are overthinking, your thoughts are confused, and this isn't even entirely all of your fault. There is a lot of morons out there advertising how to play the game properly. I mean, it's not necessarily everyone's fault that it's a huge hub of misinformation and miscommunication. But like, you can't staple everything as black or white. Like that reference, when you reference Coach Nalu, and you said that he said that you should just, farm, or he said something along the lines of, just farming camps efficiently and farming minions efficiently will help you climb. He's not wrong, but nowhere in that statement is he saying that you shouldn't dedicate yourself to the fundamentals of the actual game. That's your statement. That's shit that you came up with, and that is a byproduct of your own psychological process hindering your performance.
But I guess like my question is, if like going off of that statement,
Sure.
then if I'm getting more efficiency as more efficient farm, then I'm ahead of him. Then it doesn't matter if I have fundamentals, and I will still be ahead of him. And
you can't get ahead of him. It's like you can't get ahead of him unless you have good fundamentals. You see the issue here?
Yeah, good fundamentals in like trading.
CSing, trading, map awareness, spacing, knowing what to buy. Those are the fundamentals. They're listed everywhere.
Yeah.
So, am I getting through to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
I guess like my question is like, if I'm playing like Malzahar, why can't I just farm? And because that's what the champ is intended to do.
No, he's not. Malzahar, again, this goes back to the same issue. Why are you stating that Malzahar is intended to just farm?
Because he can wave clear so well.
But are you certain that's what he does? Why can't Malzahar trade?
I mean, he can, but...
Okay, so, what?
I mean, my question is, if obviously he can trade, anyone can. But why can't you just use his strength in wave clear and...
Because you lose first of all, one, you'll lose all your mana. 2, the other player will trade onto you. 3, you'll be too low once he trades onto you to actually do anything against the other opponent, right? But this again, it's all a theory. And okay, well, you can list the next champion. What does Seraphine do? Or what does Xerath do? Or what does Ziggs? I don't give a shit what any of these champions do. My concern is, why are you dodging the fundamentals? Because to me, from my perspective, and I'm trying to dissect not just you as a player, but you as a person here, and what I've collected here from however many minutes we're talking, is that you're avoiding things that you're avoiding variables that you're bad at.
Isn't that what you should do? And like avoiding something that you're bad at and doing something that you're good at.
Then what? Then what? That logic is so flawed.
Yeah, like for example, if like in life you're bad at doing something, and you're good at doing better things, then why not just focus on doing the thing that you're good at? And
So do you want to play League of Legends?
yes,
Why?
because it's fun.
Are you good at League of Legends?
No,
Then quit.
I mean,
That's following your own logic, isn't it? We followed your logic. If you're not good at something, then quit. You're not good at League of Legends, so why don't you quit? That's your words, technically. Well, it's your
but
logic.
my thinking was, for example, I'm bad at laning, but I'm better at like team fight, as we said before. I said before.
Right, and I'm saying that laning, the thing you are bad at, or not experienced at, I don't like using the term bad really, but the very variable you're inexperienced at is the very thing that makes you good at League of Legends.
But there are more than just laning to League of Legends.
No, it's just laning. Seriously, it's just laning. And you assuming that there's just more than laning is again you being stuck in your own psychological processes, cycling through these random assumptions that you've developed over the years that aren't even true.
I mean, that's not what just I said. It's what a lot of people said.
A lot of people suck.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. Most people suck at this game. I don't talk to most people about League of Legends. I don't talk to other coaches about League of Legends. Because they are clueless about the game, and I don't... You know what I mean? There's a lot of coaches out there that have no idea what they're talking about. There's a lot of people out there that don't know what they're talking about. That's why when I meet somebody and they start talking to me about League of Legends, I try to avoid the conversation altogether. If the conversation has something to do with, oh, how do I get better? Right? Usually I just pass it off. I try to be nice and I just don't really respond to anything because it's not something that I want to go into. But, like, to me it just seems extremely avoidant what you're doing here. And that's the conclusion that I'm you know, like, that's what I see here. It's not even a conclusion. That's what I see here. It seems as though you are extremely avoidant at lane phase. Lane phase is everything. If you're bad at laning, you're bad at League of Legends. I don't care if you're a jungle player. If you're a jungle player and you're bad at laning, you are a bad League of Legends player. Because laning is the most, like, I guess, raw or fundamental aspect of the game. And you can disagree. And you can say it isn't. But that's like you coming to someone who has a medical degree and debating them on medicine. You don't have the credentials to follow up with that. Laning is everything. You can ask anyone. Well, not anyone. Most people don't know anything when it comes to this game. But laning is literally everything. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Hold on. Give me 1 sec, okay?